I have friends that live all over London and they don't really feel that connected to other members of the community because, you know, as we say in Jamaica, everybody in London mind their own business. They don't really, they don't really interact with each other as such. When I'm preparing for a show, the first thing I do is I actually think about the people who are listening, and I try and put myself in their shoes and think, am I going to talk about stuff that's going to bore them to tears? Am I talking about stuff that they can engage with? Am I talking about stuff that they'll be interested in? And I think of those things before I actually start preparing for the show. Having established those facts, I then research the topic thoroughly so that I'm not giving anyone erroneous information. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm even OCD described by most of my friends. So anything that I am researching or I'm going to talk about is heavily researched, and it's the content is just it's spot on, because I don't want any mistakes. Because one of my nightmares is if I say something on air and a listener phones up and says, actually Prim, that's very wrong, you've said something to us that shouldn't be done. So I imagine those things happening and I do what I can to ensure it doesn't happen. When I'm preparing for an interview, the first thing I do is start thinking about the guest or the guests or the organization. I research them. If they have a unique selling point, I look at it. I look at their interest. I look at who they are. I look at what they enjoy. And I think, right, I'll ask them questions along those lines. When I interview people, I do tend to have a little laissez-faire approach, because I don't want people sitting in front of me nervous and not wanting to share stuff with me. I'm a laugh a minute, so I'm always laughing. So that usually makes people feel very at ease. And I ask them things that relate to them. I never ever interview someone and ask them a question that's not relative to them. I do keep it in conversation as such, so that people are comfortable, and I ask them things that relate to them, and I do try and touch on things that are important to them. So if someone's coming to talk to me about an event that they're going to have in a week, I talk about the history of the event, and I also will talk about I'll allow them to ensure the event is promoted heavily, and that's my approach. But my approach is basically to make my guests comfortable and not feel that they're being interviewed by the school head teacher. Always be prepared for eventualities, because I have a fully planned show for today that I was going to do in this hour. It isn't going to happen simply because the hour is gone already. Be flexible, be dynamic. You have to be dynamic. You could come in here and you got there and somebody tells you, oh, the Prime Minister is popping by, could you have a quick chat with him? Are you going to say no? No. So just be prepared.